Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, as you know, we talk to the leaders in the customer channel and brand loyalty space about the technology, trends, and best practices that they are seeing on the front lines that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, engagement, and most importantly, customer loyalty. In the month of June, we embarked on a mini series of Loyalty Live sessions looking at the evolving customer experience space and how brands can meet and, more importantly, exceed these changing consumer expectations they have from the brands they deal with and engage with. Obviously, we want them to drive more brand loyal advocates and true customer loyalty for the months and the years to come. And it's great to have a great cadre of amazing speakers who have great insights. And today we have Tim Glomb, who's the Vice President of Content and Data at Cheetah Digital. So Tim, how are you today?
I'm great, Mark. Good to see you again. It's 100 degrees in Denver, but doing well.
I heard that 100 degrees in Denver, and the Avalanche and the Nuggets were about 30 degrees. So kind of a balance there, maybe.
Yeah, well, they both failed pretty quickly at the end there, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah, that's out. Anyway, so thanks again for taking the time to talk to us. It's always great to hear you, as a leader, a thought leader in this industry. Can you tell us, for those who may not know, a little bit about you, kind of tell your background and your role with Cheetah Digital?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm near 20 years in the brand marketing space. That was across agencies and inside of internal brands. So everything marketing, from audience development through advertising, creative, et cetera. And then recently I came to the dark side. I came to the technology side here at Cheetah Digital, which is great. And as the VP of content, my job is to take and tell the stories with a lens of empathy for our clients, the successes they're having, the struggles they're having, the hurdles they're overcoming with our technology, and then share that and inspire not only our clients, but prospects and anybody interested in really listening. So I really enjoy the role here at Cheetah Digital. I'm excited to talk to you about some of the things today.
Okay, great. From your perspective, as a thought leader in the industry, been in the industry for a while, how has customer experience changed in the recent months and years?
Yeah, good question. And look, I think we have to talk about privacy compliance. Privacy compliance is one of the big trends. It's been around for a while, and it's going to be a disruptor. And also the decisions by device manufacturers like Apple. Recently, we're here in June. Apple just dropped a mail bomb. IP addresses, et cetera. So those ecosystems, have been a huge disruptor. And even into the owned channels. So, cookies, et cetera, how do you use that data, or what data do you need? Also getting explicit opt-in. I think that is a giant trend that has always been important. You should always get explicit opt-in from the people you're communicating with. But that's the rocket fuel you need behind email, SMS, in-app push, through your loyalty platforms and your customer engagement strategies. And then lastly, we're all seeing, brand promise and brand safety. That's increased in consumers' minds. So keeping your brand above board, finding out what consumers feel are their values and how you relate with that. That's an increasing need for marketers in today's environment.
And one of the things we also see is that organizations are really challenged with regard to kind of bench strength. Sometimes understanding technology is very kind of fluid right now, evolving rapidly. As 8,500 in the MarTech space and what they do kind of have kind of an overlap as well. So, when you look at that, how do you stress to the brands that you work with the importance of customer experience and how they should be leveraging kind of best practices to deliver, exceptional, personalized, customized experiences to their customers?
Yeah, look, this is really simple to me. I think a lot of people overthink this. I like to boil it down to the most basic human interactions. And one specifically is meeting somebody for the first time, right? If you meet somebody on the street or you're introduced with a friend, it just becomes a Q&A session. Nobody says, hi, I do this, I do that, I like this, I like that. It becomes conversational. So if you really want to know somebody and you want to build a relationship, it has to be this knowledge exchange. So you have to ask them, what do you do? What do you like? What don't you like? Et cetera. And you got to have multiple conversations. So, both, you got to reach out to each other. Customers have to reach out to you. You have to reach out to them. And there has to be some value between you, not just a product or a transaction. So transactional, I'd say, is more like going to the DMV. You might go in there and, there's a woman behind the counter to help you and she's got a name tag. Hi, Lisa. You're not going to be a part of my life, but I appreciate you right now. I'm not going to invite you to dinner or ask you to buy candy bars for my kid's fundraiser. And I think brands and marketers need to take that same approach when considering their marketing plans and outreach. So learn, ask, use that info. Another example, I have a buddy from college. I know him in and out. I've known him for 25 years. I know what he likes. I know his wife. I know his kids. I know his parents. I don't ask him to come archery hunting with me. That's something I love, but he does not. Don't do that to your customers. Don't do that to your potential customers. So, the kid on the corner selling lemonade is cool to wave at, and that's cute. But the guy knocking on your door constantly or hanging hang tags on your doorknob, that's annoying. Don't be that marketer. So use a value exchange, meet people, think humanly, use your loyal fans to introduce you to other ones. Don't just toss them on your list. Don't just put them into your program and call it a win. Reach out, engage, learn, listen, all of that stuff. Marketers just have to think like humans.
Absolutely. Big push for quote unquote digital acceleration through the pandemic. Retail locations were shuttered in many environments for months. And that created some challenges as well. As we talked about, not all brands have kind of a deep bench strength with regard to technology and best practices. Not only were they having to keep up with the day jobs, but they were having to push digital quote unquote acceleration, push to mobile, whatever it may be. And there was some kind of varying levels of success, as depending on the brand and how much kind of success they had. What considerations do you think brands should be cognizant of when they look at digital acceleration to make sure that they are doing the best that they can do? You talked about listening, talked about having, understanding and using the data in an effective manner. What are some other considerations brands should have when they look to enhance the efficacy of their digital acceleration processes?
Yeah, look, technology is core to that. So you have to have the right technology. It's got to be agile. It's got to work with the platforms you have right now. I mean, I'm not saying anything people don't understand, but technology, work with someone like a Loyalty360 to go through the process to find who's the right vendor that's a right match for me, right? You said it's a sea of confusion. There's hundreds of solutions out there. So use a good partner. Secondly, you got to think about the things that are disrupting the market, right? Once you have technology that moves data and can send emails or send offers, smart offers, whatever, you got to look at these disruptors that are going to be a constant threat to you. They're arrows coming at you nonstop. Privacy. 110%. If you don't have a privacy, strategy, you're gonna fail. Apple and Google are making it easier than ever to block your marketing efforts to consumers. Apple Mail, the recent disruption with the Apple Mail bomb, if they're going to block IP addresses, no one's going to be able to see open rates anymore. Like Google's going to get on that train. Who knows? ISPs might even get on that train. So get ahead of that. Start thinking about it. Don't worry about it when it happens. Get ahead of it. Also, again, I'll go back to the human conversation. Look at everything you do. Would you send it to your mother? Right? Would you feel good about the offer or the ask, the brand ask that you're making? Protect and provide value to the people that you're trying to get to do things. And then lastly, personalization. And a lot of personalization really anchors on technology, right? You need the permission, you need the technology, you need to get the right data, you need to fill those personalization buckets, get the right content, the right offer, and you need to be able to scale that on a one-to-one level. So, groups like Salin Group in Denmark are amazing with that. They figured out how to get zero-party data at scale and then really, truly push personalization at a one-to-one level. Like anybody can say bell peppers are 2 for 1 this week. That's basically driven by supply. You have too many bell peppers. But you have to get to that one-to-one level. Safeway, not a client of ours, but they have the Just For You app. They do it well. Just the name of the app, the phrase alone is a synonym for personalization. So, that's doing it right. And by the way, we know 92% of marketers agree that personalization is incredibly important. In fact, 44% recently said it's extremely important to their marketing efforts going forward. So, but only 36% say they can actually do it. and less than 10% say they are doing it. So technology to personalize, and even the people that have the technology that can personalize aren't really doing it. So let's level up. Let's get the right technology, let's get the right data, and let's personalize.
Absolutely. Leveraging technologies, can be a big challenge. We are getting ready to release our quarterly analyst report, our first for us, tomorrow, I think. And yeah, obviously you guys are one of the three platforms that are going to be kind of showcased in it. That technology challenge is a big piece, right? Understanding how they work together. And a lot of it falls, there's confusion with regard to what the technology actually does. And that can create some barriers to entry, right? And seamless entry into programs. If there are challenges with the technology, or if brands are having some challenges with getting people to actively engage in the program, what do you suggest they should do or could do that can help reduce or lessen some of those barriers to participation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first off, I think brands really need to be collecting zero-party data, right? I think that's the currency moving forward and everything that we've discussed: personalization, better experiences, et cetera. It's always been there. Psychographic information, things that you can't deduce from tracking behavior, your website, how they react in your app. But now it's scalable. The technology, some technology providers make that easy. I've been doing this for a long time. I know Richard, our CMO, has been doing it a long time. I mean, I did it for Mark Cuban, 10 years ago when merge tags and technology didn't exist. I remember collecting the right data from consumers and sending dozens of email campaigns on the same day because you had to write different subject lines and different content in them. Somebody liked R&B music versus rap or rock, and we had to tell them what our schedule was through the lens they liked. So, but the value exchange is also a great way to get people to actually activate. So thinking about what can you offer, right? The brands and brand marketers usually have the greedy ask. We have our marketing plans. We know what we need, people to do, but we lose our way in the incentive and the value exchange of making it actual possible and get somebody to do that. So use a value exchange, collect the right data, that's going to be your path forward.
Absolutely. When you look at kind of where brands are in their personalization efforts, in their customer experience efforts, right, there's going to be a pretty wide kind of the diversity of kind of responses, right? Some are going to be very sophisticated, some are going to be novices, and even how they think they may be cannot be the same. People may think they're very sophisticated when actually they may not. But iterative enhancement or iterative improvements is always most prudent to do, right? So they can have something that can measure, not trying to boil the ocean and do everything at once, especially if you don't have the right technology or the right staff. When you look at that, how do you recommend to different brands that they should design, develop, and execute on, improving customer experience for all consumers based on kind of where they are, what they're doing, their kind of unique level of experience and expertise?
Yeah. Again, I'll go back to the value exchange. So, you need to have something of value for them to engage with you, to get your ask. That's number one. Number two, when you're designing, developing, or even looking at technology platforms, think about your data. If you make your data liquid, it can go anywhere. It can power mobile, it can power email, it can power, in-store, smart apps, all kinds of things. So think about your data and get an engine that can handle that data, right? Agility. The one thing we do really well at Cheetah is our customer engagement platform. I mean, it just moves data from acquiring customers into an engine that a non-technical marketer can look at and then activate email, loyalty, rewards, in-app offers and things like that. So, but it's all based on being the liquidity of that data. Then lastly, smarter marketing, right? Use the mom test. Would you send what you're about to send to your mom? Would you send that marketing campaign? Would you send that ask? Would you send that email? Would you give her that offer? If you give a thumbs up, 75% of the time, you're doing it right, but keep it human.
Okay, great. The big push, as you know, being in the channel that the consumer is, right? If they're one channel or they have a number of channels they're engaging with you, being able to identify that consumer in an effective manner is a very challenging opportunity. Technology is a big piece of that. But when you look at consumers who want to engage in multiple channels, how should a brand engage these consumers, these members, across channels to improve the customer experience, to encourage retention, and to deepen customer loyalty?
Yeah, and I'll give you a great example. They are not a client of Cheetah, but this was amazing. I had a diverted flight this past weekend. I was supposed to go to South Dakota. I ended up in Denver. I had to call them to get that flight canceled. And literally within 2 minutes, I called. They said, "Hey, would you like to try text message to resolve this?" I said, "Sure." And literally within 2 minutes, there were about I think it was 14 interactions back and forth. And in 2 minutes, I had my flight credit. I knew exactly how much I was getting. I got an email at the same time, and my whole thing was resolved without having to talk to anybody or go out of my way. And what powered that was technology. So technology is the key. You can't expect to move that crucial data and be able to have those personalized one-to-one experiences, whether it's customer, service, in my case, or, serving the right offer, the right ad. You can't do that quickly or easily across platforms if they're all disparate and you got to move between APIs. Marketing clouds are notorious for this, by the way. And I'll say that with confidence because I bought them. I used them. Like I said, I was a marketer before I got here a year and a half ago. In the past decade, I've personally felt that problem of technology failing me. Marketing clouds having this sales package like, "Oh yeah, we can do all that." And then really it was like, "Oh my God, you bought 10 different companies and I got to move things from here. A campaign idea in one platform is a different campaign idea in another." That's a mess. So technology is what you need to make those experiences seamless for the consumer and also for you so that you can manage it. Also, emotion and action is just as important as any purchase someone's going to make with you. The CFO might differ. They'll tell you, "Hey man, we want to see how many sales are happening." But if you reward behavior and build allegiance, the revenue will come. Vans is a great example of that, right? No points can be redeemed for a discount on the product. You can't get free things just by buying more. So, they have people taking actions across channels. And it's technology that happens to be our technology that powers that. So lastly, if you want people to engage in multiple channels, shout them out. You can do this in a one-to-one channel. You don't have to name every John Doe and Jane Doe on social. You can do it in one-to-one channels. Like, here's a bold idea. Send an email to every single customer in your loyalty program or an in-app push wherever your loyalty program lives and just say, "Hey, you're awesome. That's all. Have a great day." Like, those emotional connections with consumers will have them thinking about you in those multiple channels when they need you. So lastly, surprise and delight. That's never a bad thing to do. And that can go across channels. You can send someone an email. Again, back to United Miles Plus. I flew to Portugal and in LaGuardia Airport, I got the best restaurant I could. And the waiter came and said, "United Mileage Plus is taking care of this. Enjoy your trip." Like, that's a multi-channel experience for me. I book online, I talk to them on the phone, and through a swipe of a credit card, they surprise and delight me. So the technology powers all that, and it's amazing for consumers.
That's awesome. When you look at the evolution of customer experience, where do you see that going over the next 6 months, a year, or even 5 years? In what ways do you think the brands will have to be agile or have to be flexible or even have to be more sophisticated in regard to, keep up with the kind of the evolution that you are going to see or you are seeing with regard to where customers are going?
Yep. And look, this is a great question. I love this question because it actually is the reason I am at Cheetah. I signed over 30 SaaS agreements for my clients in the year of 2019. That was the last year, full year, I was a brand marketer, on that side of the fence, beating up technology vendors, trying to find the right solutions for my clients that I was consulting. And agility is the key word. I think that is not going to go away in the near future. You need it today. We talked about data liquidity. We talked about multiple channels. Innovation and agility is what you need. Like, if you're, it's taken for granted, by the way, it's tossed around a lot from tech firms, but true agility is what marketers need today. So find a vendor that has, a roadmap that's fairly narrow and focused, but very agile in what they do. Don't go with somebody, and I'll beat up on the marketing clouds. I will, because I've paid them a lot of money of my customers' money. They say they're everything to everyone, but they really aren't. They don't innovate, and they're really not that agile. They're just huge and scale. They have a lot of customers paying them a lot of money. So agility is the one thing I look for. It's what I loved in Cheetah. I was a client of Cheetah Digital before I joined the team. And now, I just take my experiences, my pains and the hurdles I went through, through an empathetic lens, as I mentioned, to help our customers, get through that. So agility is the thing. It's the number one thing you should look at in any vendor, in any space in the marketing stack.
Okay, great. Well, Tim, it's always great speaking with you, getting a perspective on what you're seeing, what you're doing for your clients, but also kind of a perspective from a more holistic view on around customer experience. Obviously, you have a ton of intellect is there as well, and it's. I think what you share with our audience kind of helps simplify some of the things they should be considering, helps streamline their thought processes, and it's always great to catch up and see and hear what you guys are doing.
Yeah, the same. Thanks for being a great partner. I love the format. Always willing to talk, and I hope somebody found something useful. And look, they can always reach out to me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn, and happy to walk through anything somebody might have, whether it's Cheetah related or not. I just want to help brand marketers get their jobs done.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening as well. And join us back this Friday for another edition of Loyalty Live. Thank you very much.